Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to NFT Live on the Web3 Network. Another week in the NFT space, a green NFT space. It's a little dark here, I guess. We're like in some type of other alien Halloween planet, but they still celebrate. I don't know. Anyways, I'm here with Gifted. We just got off a great GM Web3 morning show with Star-Lordy of all people that hopped in. But I'm excited to get into this one with y'all. Let's get it, Gif.
Yes, sir. Happy to be back with you, Sir Q, and you fine folks out there joining us in the comments, keeping it lit over there on a Monday. But yeah, what a show over there on the X Spaces. GM Web3, we had Star-Lordy come through and basically just do an unprompted interview with us. Yeah. Fucking awesome. We had Espresso and another amazing content creator from the space just hop in and hang with us for a bit. Lindsay Burns, amazing creator, artist, founder, tapped in closely with BAYC, of course, because she's Jeff Nicholas's partner, and obviously a talent and a powerhouse in her own right. But great to have her in there. I mean, just amazing what's happening on this network right now, and so much of that is because of y'all who keep showing up and believing and supporting. So thank you to everyone, and happy Monday.
Yeah, the last rehash did extremely well too. So if you've been obviously like here with us, we've been kind of shilling that we've been doing these 10-minute clips right on YouTube and on X, and those seem to be getting more and more popular. So yeah, could not be more happy of y'all's support here. So all right, we are in the beginning of the episode, so we're doing our social media sharing, telling everybody that we are live. Gif, hit them with the disclaimer, let them know what we aren't, and then we'll let them know what we are, which is bullish, right? Did I set you up?
Yes. Thank you for that. And look, y'all know how this thing goes. I don't have to say it for some of you out there, but I have to say it for us. This is not financial advice. It never was and never will be. We're not financial advisors. We're working on our exams. Maybe one day we'll get there, but today's not that day. So always do your own research. We're just talking about cool shit on the internet, public domain, et cetera, NFA.
All right, we've got some local news here that I want to hit right off the bat. A lot of stuff was happening over the weekend. Again, we don't do NFT lives on Friday yet, so some stuff happened that we want to recap as well.
Are you teasing that we're going to be doing Friday NFT lives? What's going on here?
I'm not saying that. I
didn't get the memo.
I'm not saying that yet, but we do have some local news with Biggie Poppins. I'm going to pull that up here in a second. Gif, you also have some coffins updates, and then we do have some breaking news from the wider industry here in like the last 30 minutes. So I definitely want to go with that. But let's start with coffins. Let's move to Biggie, and then let's get into it.
Right on. Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up here really quick because today is a big day on the local news front, especially for myself and my own art and creativity, because we are launching the allow list for my first generative collection, Coffins, today. Fuck it. Dropping it today. And allow list gets 2 free mints. So this is going to be an inclusive open edition, which basically means that it's going to be extremely affordable for everybody that gets into it. But if you can't even swing a few bucks to pick any of them up in mint, don't worry. We got you covered too with this allow list. If you get on it, you are guaranteed 2 free mints during the pre-sale phase. And again, this just launched today. We'll drop it in the comments. Would love any help getting this out to some more friends. Make sure that they know that this is their way to get into coffins on the pre-sale for 2 free mints. So yeah, very excited to be launching this allows today. And this is going to be a partnership with Nifty Kit. So yeah, I mean, I'm just excited about it all around. So thanks for that.
I love it. Any special perks for my man here, Biggie Poppins, or myself being original holders? That's what I want to know. Also, goddamn Biggie, just living fucking life right now. My man is on like I said, it's a heater, but this is beyond that.
Making us all just feel less than.
Yeah. So Biggie, as you can see, Biggie Poppins is not going to be joining us tomorrow, or I guess today. I will see what he is doing tomorrow. I'll get the update there. We do have a couple updates on the guest front. So we are going to have Parallel here in on Thursday to talk their Planet Fall drop. And then Keegan's going to be joining us, I don't think tomorrow during NFT Live, but on the X Spaces, Keegan will be joining us to talk 10 KTF. So if you're interested in that collection, feels like there's a lot of energy going around in the Yuga ecosystem. Obviously,
Amazing.
10KTF community members feel a certain type of way, and we'll get that vibe from Keegan.
Yeah, he's about as deep into the 10 KTF ecosystem as anybody teaching those spaces, and a super awesome dude. So excited for all of that, and to get yeah. Did you say parallel or shrapnel? Parallel.
Parallel.
Oh,
they got Planetfall. Yeah.
Let's go. I'm stoked. It's gonna be a big week.
All right, yeah, big week, and I want to recap some of this stuff. But before we get to the bigger news pieces, we did have this breaking piece that I teased just now. That is going to be the Async Art, saying after much deliberation, it is with heavy hearts that we announce Async Art is winding down operations over the next few months. I believe they also mentioned that 2023 was going to be essentially the end. Like I think we need to get some details on where this art is being stored. I think IPFS, but Async Art is winding down operations, will not be in operation in 2024. And he takes their GIF. I wasn't a big Async Art user.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say because I really didn't use it much myself. Obviously, it was familiar with it from early on. It's unfortunate because they were really innovative. I think more creator focused than a lot of platforms that have been out there, doing some cool stuff with oracles, with music, NFTs as well. We know that music, NFTs in particular, is just it's been and continues to be a very difficult vertical to kind of figure out how to scale that, get revenue streams going. So I can't say I'm like shocked, and I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of these types of announcements from some of those platforms that have been going for the last couple of years through this bear market, trying to figure out, if they didn't have a really solid revenue stream or revenue model figured out going into the bear market, there's going to be a lot that don't make it out. And so, salute though to that team for their work, for the dedication that they put into the space, for innovating, and hopefully they can move on to other great things and figure out at least the transition, for the NFTs that are there.
All right, for those of y'all that are joining us live and commenting, you are much appreciated. If you're watching us on X, Twitch, YouTube afterwards, you guys rock as well. Our Vibe, our tribe. Let's hit some of these comments here. Squashman saying, sad to hear about Async, man. Their art and music platforms and innovation around dynamic NFTs were fascinating. Even that one project they had, Winebags, Pop Wonder, Tennille Del Rio. Nick Swerve saying, howdy Q. Yeah, I'm wearing my cap today, my trusty cowboy hat, because I am riding this bull wave, at least some sentiment here. So not too much cringe comments here about my hat today, fellas. Cam Taylor saying
not
GM, Choina, OVOT. Yeah, not yet. And Justin Casey as well saying yo. So we just started again. We just pressed live. So we are going to continuously share out the episode, get some folks in here, but we will make it to the news here as well. I got some dashboard pieces from Friday that I want to hit. GIF, anything over the weekend that stuck out to you before I jump in and we can get started?
Not really in particular, man. I was very focused on the coffin stuff. So honestly, I was a little bit less active on X because I was just grinding. The Matt Cain thing sticks out to me as really interesting. Still, so I don't know if there's a follow-up. I do think the William Mapan thing. Okay, maybe the one thing that I did really pick up on more was NAMI, because we had positive sentiment early on in our private Telegram, the Web3 Telegram around NAMI, probably primarily from Biggie Alpha Chad Poppins, that is. Put some respect on his name. But then I started to see other people talking about it in other channels, and it was all really positive. And yeah, you did see it run up over 0.4. It's dipped back down a little bit, but there's only 100 of these. So for a cool piece of art that's resonating with people and there's very limited supply, it got off to a good launch. I think there's a lot of cool things about this. The only, I guess, negatives that we've heard so far is that we don't know who this artist is. Which again, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, we don't know for sure, but whenever there's an anonymous founder behind a project, it usually leans towards not great stuff happening.
I had no idea that he actually referenced here the great wave of Kanagawa, because that's actually like what I saw in the work. Apparently the artist directly mentioned this. I did not know that at all. And what I did know was, and there are a couple pieces of conversation that we could talk about, GIF. One, he kept 100 out of the 1,000 that is the entire supply, right?
So you have, well, is it 1,000 total?
Yes, it's 1,000 because each piece has 10 editions, I believe. Each piece.
Oh.
So each 100 one-of-ones has 10 editions of self. Correct me if I'm wrong on that math, but it eventually ends up to 1,000. He did not add royalties to this at all, and is actually just keeping the art pieces, at least 100 of them, for himself. That supply.
So he's probably keeping like, yeah, one of each, right? Something like that. So okay, see, we're learning about this in real time, so it's cool. Again, buy at your own risk. It seems like there's an opportunity here if people really fuck with the art. But obviously there's risk around this artist, something coming out, people, or just the regular sort of weirdness of an anonymous founders, not behaving properly. We don't know. That's the risk that you take on. There's no accountability.
So Milk actually joined a couple of our spaces. He recently, when we were just talking about him this morning, actually followed me on X. So I don't know who's leaking him info about us talking about it, but he's saying here, the collection will be minted via manifold contract with 10 ERC 1155 editions per artwork. The total collection size will be 1,000 with each edition priced at 0.05. NAMI will not have a royalty. I will instead mint a full 100 piece wave set for myself. So he actually didn't keep it. He minted it. Which he could have minted it before the public sale went live. So, all right. Anyways, that did pop off. Gift Ed mentioned 0.42 ETH floor. This is a continuation, I think, of the hype and the narrative around Rafiq Anadol's wins of Yawanawa. That's where the narrative of getting people jumping in and aping into these projects right now. That's where we're at. It's just, it just is, in my opinion. Aesthetically, it looks dope. I can look at some of these, but GIF, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Jess was right when she said it reminds me. It's a very Easter color theme. Like, yeah, it's nice colors. It's very nice, but it is very like Easter themed. And I don't know, man. It's hard for me to get behind projects that don't have doxed founders at this point. Of course, I'm not saying that I never buy anything that's not doxed, but if it dips, maybe it's a good buy. They're cool.
I'm interested in the chat's thought on this, okay? Because Gifted basically just said, I'm not interested in a lot of this because it's not a doxed founder. To me, art does not require that. Having a business
it doesn't require
or something
it.
like
no, it doesn't require it.
Yeah,
but to me, see, this is the interesting thing. So okay, if you're just buying this 100% because you just love this piece of art, okay, buy it for whatever you can buy it for and just hold on to it forever then. But if there's some mix of financial / quote unquote investing involved, then it does matter like who you're giving your money to and entrusting with that. So yeah, it's an interesting thing, right? Like I've bought plenty of art off of like street artists and street merchants who I had no fucking idea who they are. And there was no intention. This is just because I liked it and I wanted to support them in their creative process.
Yep.
But if this is a lot of money for you and you're saying this is something that you are quote unquote invested in, that you are hoping to get out of at some point, you have to factor in the fact that it's an anonymous founder, in my opinion, at this point.
Okay, Asmodai is bringing in a awesome comment. Thanks for joining here, Asmodai. He's saying, so they're animating Windows XP backgrounds as art. The other combo around this piece was that it's AI. It's that whole combo of like, how hard is this to recreate? How hard, like that conversation started to get boiled up in some of the spaces that I was in over the weekend and this morning. Do you have any comments on that, GIF?
I have a little bit. I don't know that I have my thinking fully formed on this, and I'm sure it'll evolve. I obviously think that there is validity to AI collaborative art. So like there's going to be certain AI projects or AI collaborative projects that do pop off and then actually also can stand the test of time. I think though, if I'm trying to apply what I believe I know about the space, I think that AI art is probably going to have a wave, pun intended. It'll have a wave where a whole bunch of these types of animated projects pop off, and then a lot of them fucking die. Like I think you're gonna see, very, very similar to like, let's use the open edition thing that keeps coming up, right? Open editions had a moment where like any fucking open edition was like, everybody was jumping on that train. But how many of those open edition projects are going to stand the test of time? There's going to be a handful. You know what I mean? And I think it's going to be very similar to that. I think you'll see a ton of these types of AI generative, dynamic, animated projects. Some of them will be really legit, but very few. And the vast majority of these are going to be pump and dumps or come and go, and people are going to forget about just as quickly.
All right, I would love an audio component. I didn't realize how much I actually like the audio component of a lot of these works until one collection comes along and doesn't have it. So I'm looking at OpenSea here, and the orange really pops to me. Like that's just, it seems to be a little bit more rare. Let me make sure I'm sharing the right tab. But I like the way that the colors, again, are like flowing from one color to the next. Some of them are just kind of one color and they maintain that. And it's just kind of the motion that you're getting. But I really like the transformation of waves. Again, how hard is it to recreate? That is something out of my realm of knowledge. You can see here, NAMI's currently sitting at 0.23. So almost a 5x for the minters that were there on the ground floor. This bleeds into a deeper conversation, gift, that we can have on the market, right? Like I'm looking here, I can share on both of these screens. That's kind of a big discussion of today. To me, the whole, is the market bull or bear? Like, y'all are going to flame us for that. First of all, the thumbnail bull or bear, like everybody always just gets pissed at those thumbnails because it's kind of ridiculous, you know. But it's funny because it still means a lot. Like, it's one of the most important questions you could ask and be right or wrong on. Is the market back or is it not? Like, that is very important to know. The thing is, no one actually knows, so it really feels again like a ridiculous question to ask. So simultaneously ridiculous, but also super important. You can see the market here, but go ahead, Gif.
Yeah, nobody knows the answer, but everybody's got an opinion. That's why these questions come back. But it's a lot of green out there. It just, it's every time there's a green day, you see a bunch of the spaces pop up with like, we're so back. Is the market back? The bull's returning. You know, is the bull here? You know, I guess it's just part of the culture. But DP calling it a bull trap. It might be at this point, but it's hard for me to feel like we haven't already touched bottom at this point. You know what I mean? Like we went through a whole phase of like, are we at bottom? Oh, another bottom. Are we at bottom? Another bottom. It's hard for me to see us going back below where we've been in the last, few months to a year. Because again, there's a lot of other factors that are starting to kind of cycle around a little bit. And that the halving is one of those big things. We mentioned briefly, like, why is Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, out there spreading the rhetoric that crypto, he didn't even just say Bitcoin. He said crypto is a flight to quality. I don't think people have focused in enough on how absurd that is, given the current context of like the FUD, the mainstream hate for crypto, calling it a flight to quality. And the reason is because they know damn right that if they are not able to get the approved pipelines through traditional infrastructure to get their people on board this fucking train, they miss it. That's why you see this pressure happening, because they know they need their people to be getting their money in now. They need to be getting in over the next couple months because the halving is coming. The halving, whatever you want to call it. Like,
there's so many things, like you said, that are kind of conflating together, or like this market, this sentiment in the United States, housing prices, interest rates, all of these things are just like this one huge concoction of, to be honest, uncertainty. And I love Mike Scott's point there. Point of max uncertainty is max gain. Time to nut up or shut up. And that's where it feels like the market is literally right now. Is there are obviously people that think either way. If you asked everybody 3, 4, 5 months ago where we were going, most of us were like, this is a pain train that we're on right now. Like, start of the year, I mean, you did get some here and there, but over the most part, we were like, yeah, there's no help for us right now. But you do see a lot of things starting to stack up, including the ETF news here that we consistently get, that it's going to come by the end of the year, or what is the SEC waiting on? I think that's what Hester Pierce said over there from the SEC today, or at least talking about potential approvals down the road. I do want to share this. We obviously are on NFT Live as well, so focusing in here on the NFT market, a lot of the larger accounts that are following the macro were following volume, and you can see bumping off October 1st, we have now kind of come back to, I believe they were saying an August 22nd high here. So you can see that Hill Dobby is a great Dune Analytics dashboard to follow, by the way. You can see here, I want to make sure I zoom in so some of y'all that are watching at home can see. But basically, the last time we were at these highs on the volume side was around August. It looks like maybe early September we touched it, and then before that, August 22nd. There were some times in the summer that we went past that, but just good to see actual buy activity. You can see the amount that Blur is taking up, by the way. Obviously, once you go to the daily trades, that is about even, and the daily traders, OpenSea is still seeing more than Blur at the current rate. Let's touch on this here. Give some context. So on October 18th, I think this was kind of the high that we saw in this kind of local area. You can see all the way back to July 30th. This was the highest amount of Blur traders that we've seen at about 5,000. OpenSea in that same time had about 8,800. So just giving you some stats to kind of add to context around this move.
Yeah. And how much of this is being driven by fine art right now is the crazy thing. We started to get more into that, but the Rafiq Anadol thing, Winds of Yawanawa is at the front of that, all of their collections. Kim Asendorf. Okay, here's a sad note. I had to flip my last cargo, Kim Asendorf Art Blocks cargo, to pay rent yesterday, but got like 1.5 ETH or something on a WETH bid for something that I bought in at like 0.2 or 0.3. So sad that I had to get rid of that, because I think it's going to 5 or 10x,
Yeah.
But just the fact that there's people putting WETH bids for 1.5 to 2 ETH on, Kim Asendorf's pieces right now. Again, these generative artists and these sort of like fine NFT artists that have been building and really establishing themselves right now are starting to get a lot of traction. And Rafiq is kind of leading a lot of that charge right now. But there's going to be a lot of the builders and creators that have been sticking around and creating cool shit over the last couple of years that come out of this, especially on that generative art side, as like just big names, leading this whole movement. Kim Asendorf is one of those, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, if you want to support this man here who's up here every day creating content, doing all these different things in the space, and who is having to part with his awesome collection, honestly.
Grail. Flooring my grails into WETH bids to survive right now. It hurts, bro.
If you would, this is our most desperate plea we've ever done on the network. But I did just drop that link for the NFT Live show here over on X. If you guys want to hit that. So some other pieces that we'll touch on in just a moment, X Copy and William Mapan that we covered last week, that floor bid got up to about 10 G's. So that was a huge piece and collection there.
Wait, the floor bid got up to 10K?
I believe so. I need to confirm.
See, William Mapan, another example of one of these sort of quote unquote fine art, high end NFT artists that's just to the moon.
NFT volumes, price action, we just hit on. We'll kind of stay in there. I did just see an interesting post. Let me make sure I'm on my personal. I thought this was a really, really cool way to display in one single picture what you're dealing with just existing in the Web3 space. And I think I have it here. Yeah. All right. So this was from a follower that I actually gained on FriendTech. I met some cool individuals, like I've said. Free spicy take. Most of you are unaware of the game, and this gives people aware of it in Edge. You aren't left or right curve. You are the market. He's talking about now, just like making sure that you understand you're either in a caravan with people that get how the Wild West works, or else you're going to get completely just nuked. So we have the game here, though. This was a really cool post. You can see on the other side of the board, there's like 2 queens, there's extra pawns, there's extra knights
stacked against you.
And you can see on your side of the board, it's generally just what a general chessboard looks like. And I thought this was a fantastic way of describing how you exist in this space. So this to me also, I put it in the Telegram chat GIF. This is more of a bear market board, in my opinion. Like in a bull market board, it's a little bit more even. And you get maybe an extra knight, a couple extra pawns, where you can actually feel like you might be able to win some, even without like insider information or, I said, obviously not financial advice. No one's trading on insider info, but we get how this space sometimes operates. All right. Let me see if I've got some others. GIF, you did mention that we're seeing broad green around the NFT space. So, biggest winners here over the last 24 hours, Oniforce, MFers, Digidaigaku, Pixelmon, Viscosity as well. And Viscosity is a higher end.
What's happening with Digidaigaku? What's going on there?
You know what? I have no idea. We can jump in here in a second. I know Pixelmon has that big release later today, the Kevin Adventures.
The adventurer, Kevin?
Yeah. Yes, Big Losers. Winza Yawana is down 10% on the day. We also have Valhalla.
That's still a winner.
Proto Gremlins, a Kid Called Beast, and Captains. Listen, if you bought Winza Yawana at like 14 ETH, it's not. So they're definitely have to take that into consideration. Recapping Friday, I'm going to try to do it as quickly as possible. We do have a trailer. We are trailer maxis on the show. So I need to figure out what's going on with China as well, because everybody's congratulating him. So he
got something to do with those postcards. He's like minting stamps or something. That would be cool to get more details on Choina. Again, you should come on the show sometime. Just saying. But we covered that when it was launching, but I didn't get into it, so I don't know the ins and outs of what's going on with those. But I guess it's an ongoing game or collector game, and that's cool.
Okay, DP saying, fuck it. You got to do what you got to do in a effed up economy. All that matters is survival. We'll ball again soon. Could not agree with that anymore. And Asmodai saying we're all pawns in this crypto chess game. All right, let's put some fun back into this episode here with the Beeple announcement event on December 16th in Charleston. Let's watch it.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell.
I gotta mute that.
Jingle bell.
I feel like I do have to mute that, but you can see free event for Beeple collectors. Oh, I actually thought thought that was him. No, that's not. It's a wax figurine. Free event for Beeple collectors, CryptoPunk owners. I'll drop the link for y'all, but yeah, cool little event there. This is. I mean, the Beeple Studio is just an awesome addition to the IRL, what would you call it, portfolio that we have in the Web3 space right now. Like you have 8Fest has been, kind of going over the years. I don't know what will happen with VFriends. I do think that Proof canceled there. So we really have like a stable of just yearly events, I think, in the NFT space, and Beeple Studio is becoming one of them.
Yeah, can't wait till I can afford to go to more of them again, because I was on that tour for a good 2 years there, and it's not cheap, but it's a good time. I'll tell you that much. Felipe out here just not giving me a break. He's gonna keep showing up for the not financial advice that I don't give. Appreciate it.
All right, quickly, I'm going to cover last week's news here. The Tinaj Drop seemed to be all over my timeline. Like, as much as we were kind of up here saying, I don't know about the visuals here. I don't know about the quality on the just creativity front. I do think a lot of people saw these as the first OF1 drop, and they were like, I have to get one. Like, this is a collector's item at this point, even more so.
Yeah, and I mean, again, like the design's cool. It doesn't like, I'm not like, oh fuck, I have to have them. Actually, you know what shoes were cooler that we should pull up is the Murakami's got delivered. Did you see those?
No, I didn't.
Those are actually like actually fucking lit. So I'll try and find and pull those up.
You know what else was dope? The Fuos one was dope. Or was that Adidas? Was that Adidas?
Adidas, that was Adidas. But yeah.
Yeah, pull those up, man. Give me a chance.
Yeah, let me see. Here we go. Actually, these are, I think, from JR. So let me share this real quick.
I think part of my internal bias with Nikes is that they feel like there's the data around it, like we have no information on, right? Like it's always like open and transparent on the blockchain. And then I asked about OF1s. I want to be like, hey, what does the secondary market look like? What's going on? And then we're always like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, this is pretty cool though. Like, not gonna lie, I saw these and I was like,
yeah,
damn,
those are sick.
Those are pretty wild.
I wouldn't rock those out, but
yeah, the Tinages are cool. They're just like, they didn't blow me away. But yeah, the fact that they are the first ever OF1 Nike dotSwoosh thing, I'm sure somebody's gonna fucking care about that. It strikes me right now that and again, shout out to JR. These are his shoes. He got 2 pairs apparently. So fucking jealous of that, man. Congrats. But what strikes me just right now is that like Nike is doing a good job and is ahead of so many. They, just like Starbucks, Nike and Starbucks, man, they're 2 global business leaders who continue to innovate, have been successful at innovating for decades and decades. And they are now set up with learnings, their own platforms, experiments, track records in this space, just light years ahead of so many other brands moving into, the future of community building, engagement, rewards programs. So, dude, who the fuck is betting against Nike right now?
Yeah, Artifact also got a bid as well. I need to find the story there so that we can cover that. But yeah, they got a bid in this PFP resurgence. Okay, as when I was saying, I picked up a discounted Beeple art book, $18. Trying to say I missed those. I got it at $40. They were at $5.
That's
while
wild.
we were live on NFT Live. We thought it was a scam.
I thought there had to be a catch. Like when you were buying it, I was like, that's not gonna be legit. But it was. It was legit. And Q was the smart one. He fucking got in. Yeah. Go ahead. You were the smart one, bro. Like I didn't believe it. I was like, that's too good to be true. I feel like that's gotta be a scam. And you pulled the trigger and you won.
Yeah, I could have easily gotten scammed. I know Squash got his like sent back or something like that. This is just one example, folks. Just one example of value coming in from NFT Live, because we were live covering it while that information dropped. There's a couple stories in NFTs and crypto that just like fall through the cracks, and that felt to me like one of them, bro. Like no one's going to talk about this.
There's so many. You know, it's another story that just
the BlackRock. Let's talk about yeah. Fucking BlackRock. I'm gonna get like jailed talking about that. It's like Illumina.
Yo, Coinbase. There's not Coinbase. The OpenSea BlackRock NFT conspiracy. That's a deep rabbit hole. That is like, go down that rabbit hole at your own risk. There's some shit there to be discovered.
It's either one of the biggest rabbit holes, or it's just like an intern accidentally accepted it.
We gotta hype it up. Bro. Yeah, an intern did something with a social media account that we gave them control of.
Yeah, exactly. All right, finishing up on the dotSwoosh piece here. Exclusive access for AF1 Low Tinaj has now closed. To our members who showed up today, thank you. We hope you love Tinaj, and we can't wait to show you what's next. Oh, and check out your profile on 1025 to see your Tinaj's virtual twin. So physical piece here.
Virtual
really,
twin.
Really
when secondary market though? When secondary market?
I just tried to look at it.
dotSwoosh. That's what we're all waiting for it. I think they're probably doing this really smart though. Again, like they seem to be executing very, very well. And I think if I'm trying to understand why they're doing this the way that they are, they're probably saying, look, we have to get enough products, enough interest, enough like activity and like things going before we launch the secondary market. Otherwise it'll be fucking dead. It'll be a ghost town. Then you know how that goes. The negative sentiment, everybody's like flooring and shitting on it because it's not an immediate success overnight. I think they're slow playing this so that when they do launch the secondary market, they've got several different products and things happening and enough excitement to really like make it a moment and have volume coming into that.
Yeah, I love that. I can agree with that fully. I really like their execution up to this point. For whatever reason, the people, like the industry, I just don't think wants to talk about. Even Artifact, like Artifact finally got a bid here and was up like 50% or something like that. But yeah, it's just not in the wheelhouse of
again.
Web3. It just doesn't feel cool, I guess.
So many projects, so many brands rush out their shit to try and get the bag. Even we just saw Stars Arena flub their relaunch because they rushed it. They didn't even wait for their data to like sync up and like figure out all the back end shit before they relaunched. And now it's like I think you were using the George Bush quote, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Yeah, like so now they're in that
There's
situation.
A saying here.
There's something there. Yeah,
I know. I don't know if it's in Tennessee, but yeah. Go ahead.
Well, but the point is, like, that's why you got to give massive props to Nike and any of these projects that are really taking their time, not listening to the noise. They're doing it in their own time frame and making sure that they methodically are like executing against a plan that makes sense for a bigger long-term move. And yeah, anyway, we're glazing Nike so hard right now.
Sponsorship incoming. All right. Anyways, we are about halfway through the show. We did get a couple links out to y'all. I am sharing here on the back end as well. We'll be here for another 30 minutes discussing the NFT and Web3 market here. I think the next piece that I want to get into, other than this stats tweet, just staying kind of on the market, NFTs, are we back? Aren't we back? Again, volume, price, all of this stuff was extremely volatile here over the last 24 to 48 hours. We saw 30%, 100% increases. Stats is covering this, saying after serious sweeps last week, Azuki has reclaimed the spot as the number 3 PFP in terms of floor price. They flipped, I believe, MAYC and Pudgy Penguins as well, becoming the third largest PFP collection in terms of, I believe, floor price. So again, not market cap, but floor price. This seems like another case, man, of do you want to be right or do you want to make money? Like Azuki, I probably will never touch. They do have a larger Asian contingent here that we're not privy on and that their community is heavily based in. But it just feels like we get the sentiment from all of the co-hosts up here about Azuki is very far down, and yet they're the third largest collection in the space still.
Yeah, here's the interesting thing about how liquidity, tokenomics, markets, attention, volume, all this shit works, and why, like, whether or not you agree with the tactics, the execution, the leadership behind some of these projects that were able to amass a shit ton of volume and interest and awareness over the last couple of years, is that there's an actual snowball effect that happens, especially within like Web3, because of network effects and all these different protocols and like the way that this all happens. Because what I'm trying to get to is that something like a flooring comes out, a new protocol comes out for NFTs. Where are they going to go? Well, they're not going to be going to DBs, unfortunately. They should be going for DBs, but they're not, because DBs is not a top collection. They go to the top
liquidity, top
10, top 50, maybe top 100 eventually, but they're going to go for the quote unquote top collections by volume, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And so
that's their business.
So just participating in these quote unquote top collections, you're automatically going to be more involved in a lot of these big moves and get more opportunities to financialize that or take something out of it. So it is what it is, man. And to your point, it's like, yeah, whether or not you like it doesn't mean that you can't still do well on some of these projects like Azuki.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like if you want to talk about whether you like the industry that they're in, that's a whole nother debate. their industry is about liquidity. That is as simple as that. Like, they're obviously going to go with where the most volume is, just like any exchange, I think, would. All right. You bring in flooring, and I want to really just set a very small foundation for how my morning started and how it had to deal with flooring. I literally woke up. Of all the things that I do in the morning, it's probably not a great habit, but I go to Blur, I check the floor prices, see what's up. And to my very large surprise, Oniforce was up 35-40%. I think it was at like 1.1 ETH at that point. It's been trending from like 0.6 to about 0.75 for a long time, just up, down, up, down, up, down. It's up 30%. It's up in the above 1 ETH. I'm like, dude, finally people are understanding all of the things that are going on within Oniforce. Oh man, maybe they're getting word on maybe a secondary collection, maybe the Ronin stuff, maybe the team, all of this shit. And I'm like walking to the bathroom. I'm just like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
we were right.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And then I stop in my tracks, and just the voice. It's just a voice, and it's like Field of Dreams, where he's like being talked to by God. He's like, it gotta be flooring.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, stop. And then I just instantly run over to my computer, open up the flooring app, and of course, Oniforce added overnight, which we can get into. The whole other things. There's a couple other stories around flooring here, but that was just fucking hilarious. It seems to be a meta as well around these projects. If you can catch them potentially before they get added, like even looking at the top Blur volume right now, they'll probably get added to flooring within the next 2 weeks if you want to be, getting involved in that meta.
Yeah, apparently right now it's if you frag it, they will come.
All right, that's 1x for Gift Dead here. If you frag it.
Yeah, well, we're talking about fragmentation, right? Come on. Y'all got that, right? That was good. Right?
First of all, I prefer fractionalization to fragging. I thought I was in my COD days.
Look, we can't all be that innovative with language,
It's true. All right, real quick. So you can see Oniforce here again, sitting about 0.95 now. So they have dipped off. I was interested in the timing, right, around these announcements. I'm interested in whether people are front running the news. So we got like 4 a.m. this morning. It was about 3:30. We got a tweet from, I believe, TLC. So I believe, or FLC, Free Lunch Capital. So a bunch of people here buying off that announcement. You did see a little bit of buying activity prior to that announcement. So somebody got the word, or somebody randomly bought prior to the announcement. And then it did run up on low liquidity, I should say. So only 42 ETH today. I'll give you a look at the 1 day volume for the larger collection. So BAYC 1 day volume, 3,600. So you can see even like a smaller collection like the Captain's doing 175. So only 35 ETH volume on that Oniforce move, which you could look at being negative or positive. All right.
For me, it's positive. I'm going to go actually fuck with flooring app now. I was not fading it, but I was slow playing it because you got to be careful with any sort of DeFi shit. But you know what? The best thing about it so far is that, at least not yet. And again, I'm not saying it's not possible that this flips around and becomes a negative feedback loop. It seems like it's actually been more of a positive feedback loop as far as like floor price and volume and interest goes. And that's so huge to me, because the problem with Blur was that they were farming off of people literally like cutting down the floors. They just created a horrible incentive structure for that whole farm mechanism that produced the worst negative feedback loop that the NFT space has ever seen. And so that's why we were initially skeptical on this, right? But I'm feeling a little bit better about it, and definitely good enough to at least dip my toe in and check it out and put my Onis on there, because yeah, it feels like it's not creating as much of a negative feedback loop and may actually be going a little bit the other way.
Yeah, I sent a message over here to Free Lunch Capital, who is behind the project Flooring Lab. I would love, with a project like this, we'll spend probably 5 more minutes here. you guys have any questions about flooring, we'll try to cover them. Essentially, what you're allowed to do on this app, people are farming, as you can see, the FLC token by participating in the app. You can see the app here. There are additions, and each project that has been listed basically has pumped. I think except for DeGods. DeGods is, for whatever reason, not pumping here. But this allows people to fractionalize NFTs. To Asmodai's point, fractionalization has been brought up before. I think Uniquely was a big one. There's a couple
Rally.
Did Rally allow you to fractionalize? I thought that
Rally. Well, there's I don't know if they're actually affiliated or not. Like, I don't know if the Rally token was. There's an app called Rally that is all about fractionalizing assets. And I actually got into it because of VCon1 and Gary V. And I actually have like, a couple fractions of like a Moonbird and a V friend or whatever over there. So, but like the thing that came up initially too when we were looking at this is that fractionalization wasn't successful. There wasn't enough of a need of a product market fit, and people generally, especially with like PFPs, like you want to own the whole thing. Like they're not big enough yet, and the community is not big enough yet to support a bunch of PFP projects with fractionalization. But that doesn't mean that you can't sort of reinvent that or provide a new utility or a new use case that all of a sudden makes it more interesting. And so maybe we're seeing that here a little bit, but also we don't know, 6 months from now, is this still a thing? Who knows? That's why we're slow playing it.
It's fair to ask when that's already been created. For those of you that are sitting at home like, what the fuck are we talking about? This, if you have an NFT, let's say Bored Ape Yacht Club, you can put it into a pool, a specific pool that gives you a million U tokens back. So it'd be like UBAYC. What that allows people to do, if you have $10, you can go and buy a fraction of this quote unquote NFT. In theory, that sounds like it could drive more liquidity, right? There's a ton of people that want to get into BAYC that don't have what's today's rate, like $50,000. If you can essentially buy the token on the open market, you can get 2% of that. That should then drive the price of BAYC up, and arbitrage will drive that price up on the Blur marketplace. So if you're not understanding how that price action works, it's you get 10,000 smaller accounts that have like $10 each. They buy up these U tokens, driving up the price. The redeem process via the flooring protocol makes it so Blur prices go higher. People want to then buy that NFT on the open market because there's an arbitrage difference between the U tokens and the NFT itself.
It's really complicated, and even with you explaining it, like I'm still wrapping my head around it. So like we're gonna cover this a few more times, and again, this is why I'm gonna actually go and be a practitioner and dig in to like really start to play with this, because it's not an easy thing to grasp. I do want, but thank you for doing the best to explain it to us who are not, as DeFi savvy. I want to shout out the amazing people in the comments, because we got some awesome comments here. Following up on Asmodai's question around fractionalizing, Squashman saying, how that shit goes. Social tokens and social fi were also a thing in years past and all of a sudden blowing up. That's a great parallel, right? Another example of something that all of a sudden you kind of like tweak it or add a little bit new use case, a new app, a new front end, whatever it is, and you bring this old concept that you thought was kind of dead back to life. Then Choina,
look, CryptoKitties existed, and you could say, "Oh, that didn't work, so fuck it, we're never going to do that again."
Yeah, and then Choina also saying, saying the other side of this, the downside, saying I jumped in on a small bag of fractionalized metaverse land a couple of years ago, but the project dipped, which is also why we're slow playing it and being very careful with these types of things, and are very aware that even if we get into it, this shit could fold and disappear just as fast as it comes. That's DeFi. DeFi is crazy risky, man. I've lost more fucking around with DeFi protocols than anything else, because I don't understand them well enough. Yeah. And like, man, I've just gotten wrecked over and over.
It's true. There's an element to this. I'll give you one quick anecdote. I got a buddy who, actually it was his wedding this weekend, who gets super involved in fantasy football. Most people lose their ass on fantasy football. Like over the course of time, the house wins. He goes to each app
There's
when they're
that one
offering
guy.
promos. He goes when they're offering promos. That's what these DeFi apps do. They're offering promotional codes, aka early rewards for farming here. What you want to get to is where he is getting that promo code to offset his risk. So if he gets $1,000 from the app and he makes it will, like, say he makes off that $500 he gets from DraftKings, he can then turn that into 10 Gs, and then your risk is essentially zero. You could leave the app, you could leave whatever else is on the platform and just farm what you want. But the problem is you have to be savvy to get in on those DeFi farms where you understand, okay, after I get either through risk or through knowing the right people, that I farm enough to offset my risk. That's the problem. Okay. Just really quick, because this fractionalization piece is fascinating to me. I don't think we haven't seen this play out in real time, GIF, but imagine, so this is the area here, right? Where you have Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs. You have 10 million people over here with $10. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they want to spend that money. They cannot raise the floor price of BAYC, okay? Because nobody has 50 Gs. If you put flooring here, and essentially you can offer $1 worth of BAYC, okay? You have 10 million people that are going to put $10 each, whatever that amounts to in total, like that's $100 million or something like that. That money, GIF, is going into BAYC. That's how you have to think about this. Whether it works or not in reality, do enough people want to buy $10 worth of a BAYC, okay? If that is in theory true, what you're doing, GIF, is driving up the floor price via extra liquidity coming into those $10 buys. Because there's somebody in between these 2 points that's driving up the floor price on the Blur marketplace. Does that make sense?
Yeah. If again, to me, I'm definitely not an expert yet. I'm understanding more and it's helpful. But to me, the thing that I'm trying to wrap my head around is it all comes down to creating an interesting enough value prop and incentive to get all those people that have the $10 to come and see why they should be playing in this casino, right? Because again, it's like just the value itself of owning a fraction of a PFP isn't it? Like that's what we saw in the past. But now you introduce some kind of DeFi incentives and the casino aspect. Maybe now it's interesting. But is it a Ponzi? Can you keep it going? That's the whole other question, right?
Here's my bell curve take. Okay, here's my like 10 IQ / 200 IQ take. Like, it's gonna sound very simple. If you could buy $10 worth of a Bored Ape Yacht Club on Venmo, then that in theory will work. Okay, because you have the culture mechanic.
If it's easy enough,
then you unlock millions of dollars of liquidity because people will see, oh, I spent $10 and it turned into $12 worth of BAYC.
Yeah, you're right. Because the
DeFi apps are so fucking bad that only these people understand it.
No, you're absolutely right. And again, it's about getting the people in, whether it's through incentives or, to your point, if you just have the proper onboarding to make it super fucking easy, then I agree. Because as I'm recalling, when I got on the Rally app and did the whole sign up thing sitting there at VCon, it was a whole KYC, not a fun process. It wasn't like, hey, just go into our app and sign up and use the promo code. No, it's like, no, when I went, I was like, oh, fuck. It took me fucking 15 to 20 minutes or maybe even 30 minutes of and going through a whole KYC process just to get like a $5 share of an NFT,
Yeah.
So you're right. I agree.
It's fun times. I don't know how much interest is involved. I will say adding all of these mechanics, they bring up interesting emergent properties or emergent things that we would never have thought of, right? So this story we'll recap with quickly. Somebody who actually got into the flooring app burned his tokens. So remember, the redeem process is I get 1 million tokens out. I can put 1 million tokens back in and get my NFT, a random NFT, keep in mind, not the one that you put in, but ones that are in the poll. Well, this asshat / innovator / I don't know what you want to call him, burned from 4 collections, he burned 1 token. So remember, You can buy these on Uniswap. You can buy these NFTs, for example, UBAYC, probably on Uniswap. I don't know where the most liquidity is. It might even be on flooring. I haven't gone in. Because this dude burned one U token, somebody's going to get left not being able to claim a Bored Ape Yacht Club. Like, if everyone removed liquidity right now and somehow got their hands on 1 million, again, UBAYC, one person would be left with 999,000 of U tokens. And that what he's essentially done is burn, like he's saying, I have effectively burned one of each of these because he basically sent that one U token to a burn address. Wild.
Yeah, this is the type of stuff that, like, it gets really convoluted at a certain point, and the people that understand it are the ones that really make out. But it's fascinating, man. And yeah, I'm glad that we're digging into it more. It does help. And I'm sure once I start playing around with my Onis on there, I'll get a much better sense for how this works. Yeah,
keep in mind too, this guy can go and buy one more today with liquidity high. He can go and just buy another UBAYC token and reclaim
right now,
an NFT right now.
Today. Yeah.
Somebody got fucked here.
Someone passed the baton. Q didn't like my musical chairs metaphor, so Russian roulette is what we'll go with. But yeah, I mean, look, Mike Scott definitely bringing up interesting questions around the securities aspect. It's like, I don't think we know. I'm sure this flooring app is not in the US, though. I'm sure that they have not set up their business entities in the United States.
Yeah, decentralized protocol, probably an Anon founder. It's FLC, so I don't have like this is, Mike Smith who's running this. So, all right, this is an old look, but this was the Dune Analytics dashboard. Total value is like over 6,000, I believe, ETH currently. So, yeah, of anything GIF, it's at least driving, again, that innovation piece of like, hey, can we get this to stick? Okay. CryptoKitties was the original innovator. You could even claim before them, Punks did it. Like, there's an element of innovation to this. So don't give me the whole Friendtex not innovating. They're tweaking it just a little bit. They're adding new things, and it's bringing liquidity in. I'm not saying they're changing the fucking world, but they're tweaking it.
This is how innovation works across everything and art. It's like most smart people are not trying to constantly reinvent the wheel. They're literally looking for, what are the great ideas? What are the success stories? What are the things that have had potential or done really well in the past? And how do we apply those today?
Yep.
Sometimes literally just a fresh coat of paint makes something way more interesting and different and valuable to people. But usually in this case, it's just a combination of a few different things.
Yep.
Maybe you've seen all those things before, but did you see them together like this? Maybe not.
All right. Whether you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, YouTube afterwards, you guys have been awesome. By the way, we have this, just everybody likes catching the not live version. I don't know what it is, but we appreciate you guys so much. On X, we see you guys as well. But GIF, we officially just a second ago crossed 30 YouTube live viewers for the first time in a minute. So if I could do the balloons, I'll do the Philly. I'll do the Phillies right now whenever they get a hit. Bam, bam, bam.
We got to celebrate somehow. I don't know that I got anything around me that I can celebrate with, but that's huge. That's huge, man. We've been in that like 20 to 30 range, bruh. Trying to get, and we're just talking about YouTube, by the way. We got more viewers on other platforms like Twitter, but just hitting that 30 live with us right now on YouTube.
I wish I had something. I wish I had something.
Feels good, man. Yeah,
restream
tomorrow. Let's make sure we come in tomorrow. I'll rock the cowboy hat tomorrow too, and we'll come up with, maybe we'll take some lemon juice shots. You know what I'm saying? We'll get crazy. Gotta celebrate.
Restream does not allow like the OBS functionality where I can just press a soundboard and it's just like booming. But whatever, we'll figure it out.
EOS, shout out EOS Watchdogs, saying hit the like button. Yeah, now if only we could get all 30 of you to actually like the show. That's the next thing we got to work on.
We're going to stand here in silence until we get 30 likes. From the 30 of you that are here, and by the way, we instantly said that and everybody just bounced.
Yeah, of course. They're like, oh no, they know I'm here. Fuck.
Get out. All right, moving on. GIF, you're gonna really like this here. NounsDAO has an esports team. You covered this. They just beat TSM to go to the international, basically
Bruh.
worlds of Dota. They just beat TSM.
This is not getting enough coverage. I guarantee you, we are literally one of the only, if not the only, like Web3 media or media company out there that's been covering this at all. I brought this up recently as an example and started talking about it because I was like, this is fucking cool. Even though I'm not even a Dota player, I don't know like very much about Dota at all. It's pretty fucking nerdy. I know that as far as games go, but this is still fucking cool. The Nouns ecosystem is doing so much cool shit that doesn't get enough press. And the fact that they have a legit competitive esports team, it's fucking dope, man. So congrats.
TSM, one of the larger, one of the larger esports orgs there, and you can see again their post. First of all, as a former Dota player, I did the whole Dota, the league, back to Dota, and now I've been league for like 5 years. The international is actually a cooler experience in my opinion. Huge pots, just the way that they have the process, like millions and millions of dollars for these winners. All right.
Wait, Q.
Hand motion, guys. Are you not watching the World Series? Are you not watching ALCS ball? Come on, man. I guess nobody watches baseball here.
Q, I have a nerdy video game trivia, esports trivia question for you. What does TSM stand for, Q?
Team Solo Mid.
There he is, my guy. If you didn't know it, as a league player,
you're about to take my card.
I was about to get you flamed, bro.
All right, we do have Marty McFly here, which means, folks, drum roll. Again, I wish I had like a regular drum roll. We can start the Yuga Labs show.
Oh, I thought you meant it was time for me to get shit on for my Nakamiga some more.
Well, that too.
All right, cool.
But without further ado, Marty McFly is in the house. So let's bring up an old friend.
Who's that?
Gordon Goner.
Oh, shit.
Back. He even said he's advising with Yuga Labs right now. So he's making his way back with a long, again, guys, avert your eyes if you just don't like reading posts that are over 2 paragraphs long. But he basically is writing to the Bored Ape community here that he is back, not fully back. Yeah, let me make sure I'm getting my words right. Let's see. Have been involving myself more as an advisor over the past couple weeks. I hope that my presence is felt again in some way. I have to like stop my Moon Boy kind of hopium here. I do. But what is happening with Bored Ape Yacht Club is super interesting right now. Because prior to this month, it's been kind of like, okay, we've had Legends of the Mars kind of coming, but and you know, we have had Heavy Metal Forge. We know how that went, but it's kind of been shaky. Like, and it still is. Don't get me wrong. Like, it still is, but it does feel like so much more positive energy has like entered the arena. Gordon is posting. Daniel Allegre had his post the other day. We're getting closer, it looks like, to another side release. Hong Kong is happening. We're getting more interest in the ApeCoin DAO than we ever have before. I have to reserve my thoughts on Machi himself because I never know. Like with Machi, like where is this going to end? Because what he's doing is essentially putting himself as one of the faces of ApeCoin. That's what's happening literally over the past month.
I mean, Marty, look, again, Marty gets a lot of stuff right. We got to give him credit. You know, he's definitely our local fudder of almost everything. But, you know, he's been the one saying like, look, Machi is basically one of the leaders of the whole community now. And he is absolutely established himself.
What does that mean though?
Yeah, but what does that mean? And again, you know, got to give Marty some credit for pointing that out early. I think if I'm going to do my best job to glaze the apes right now and put on my optimistic hat, that's it right there. I foresee this hopefully being the biggest comeback story of Web3 of all time. Gordon Goner coming back eventually. And I'm not saying it's going to happen soon. Yeah, maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's another year. But I just mean if and when this man is able to make a triumphant full return to the space, I think it's going to be the most epic comeback story.
Gordon here saying, no, the HK parties will be wild, even without my stupid smile. I've spoken to Daniel, and he's personally guaranteed me that everyone will 100% be getting laid, which is great news. Also,
Yes.
Garga promised to go streaking. He's a little bashful, though, and asked for a little encouragement.
Streaking through the streets of Hong Kong with a bunch of apes sounds like a good time. And yeah, it's like he's clearly trying to remind everybody from the club of like what the OG vibes were about. And a lot of it was just fucking being degens, having fun, aping out in fucking rooms. And so much of their brand is kind of that, you know, for better or worse. It's, you know, a lot of people will not like the sort of fratty, immature nature of it, but just having fun with the boys, with the girls, with the homies, whatever it is. And that sort of, you know, attitude has been missing very much in this transition to expand into a real company and a gaming brand and all these different types of shit, right? And he's trying to bring back more of the je ne sais quoi, the vibes.
So. I actually faded that when they started releasing a lot of their Dookie Dash stuff, and now I think it's more a part of the DNA that I guess I believed. Wow.
Gets QSIP? I don't know what QSIP is. But it looks like that's positive. That's a registration of some kind.
Yeah, it seems to be a registration for the BlackRock ETF.
Dude, maybe we shat on Cointelegraph too hard. Because dude, that intern is gonna be so pissed.
Is fired right
dude,
now.
He's gonna be so pissed. He had his money fucking docked from him too. Like he's gonna be like, y'all, I actually did a good job and I was ahead of everybody by like a week or two on this story.
Out. He's a legend at this point. He's an absolute fucking legend if he comes out and doxes himself.
He's going to be like, are you fucking kidding me, guys? I was literally being the best intern for a news source you could ever have.
Hey, first one over the edge gets shot, okay? And that man was first.
Facts.
And he did get shot. All right, we'll cover that developing story. Guys, we have to run here momentarily. Other than the Gordon post, we do have this post from Bored Ape Yacht Club. Apes together strong, apes even stronger with friends. We did get the full post here for HK. This would be absolutely phenomenal. They posted a virtual events as well announcement. So this would be fantastic for the sentiment of the entire space. If this actually goes off and it's a fucking blast, this could be really good for all involved. I know that's kind of a simp take. I'm not really, going out on the ledge for that one. But if this really, really pops off, GIF, it could be very big. It's much needed, I should say.
Absolutely, man. And we do have the specs here from EOS Watchdogs. Shout out to you providing some info. QSIP stands for Committee on Uniform Securities Identification Procedures. It really rolls off the tongue. QSIP number identifies most financial instruments, including stocks of all registered U.S. and Canadian companies. So yes, this does appear to be some kind of official filing or registration.
All right, crypto talk for sure, though. I want to make sure to shout him out because he was the first one that came in here and dropped that piece of news. All right, that was pretty much. I mean, we did have a lot, but we do have to get running. Xcopy potentially has a drop here momentarily. We did see the William Mapan piece. Let me make sure I get that final bid for you guys before we get out of here. Man, a loaded week as well. I reached out to the Bored Ape Gazette to see if they want to be talking about anything BAYC and ApeCoin DAO. There's a lot going on. Like I can't even put it into one kind of coherent thought because with ApeCoin DAO, there's just things are moving at such a fast rate there. So we did have that. We do have Keegan coming in tomorrow to our spaces to talk 10KTF. That's another part with this Yuga Labs piece as well. And then we do have Parallel at the end of the week. So we're moving on the guest front. We're going to try to do a better job of bringing in these guests to talk different collections. Would be interested if you guys want to drop in chat there. What collections, what teams, what founders would you like to see on our shows? We can do our best to bring them on. GIF, if you got any piece there, definitely add it. This was the William Mapan here. So yeah, 6.336 ETH, lowest winning bid. So my man got a bag here. Yeah, awesome.
Dude. I get chills seeing this type of shit, man, because I've been a creative and an artist my whole fucking life, and I'm still trying to figure it out. And to see artists whenever they like deserve it, you know, they're creating cool stuff, they're out there grinding, and they hit, like they get success, like they get the resonance, the product market fit of their own creativity and creative output. Dude, just congratulations, man. And that goes to all of them, to Rafiq, to Kim Asendorf, to William Mapan here specifically. It's just tremendous, man. Like this guy's life is changing in front of our fucking eyes.
A quick announcement here as well. You can see him doing these physical pieces. Well, immediately following the end of the auction, he said the sketchbook A is signed. A5 prints will go live at 5 p.m. BST today. This might be live right now. The print sale will close on December 17th at 5 p.m. GMT. This is a sale for physical prints only. Collectors will not receive an accompanying digital token. You can generate as many sketchbook outputs as you like and select your preferred outputs to purchase in printed form. I'm wondering if this is the additions from Sketchbook. The the sale that we just saw, is that the NFT that you use to produce these physicals? I need to make sure before I put my foot in my mouth.
Yeah, we got just so many awesome comments streaming in here. QV, Quantum Variant, BTC 31K. It is a big deal. Love to see it. Justin providing some more context here, saying, yeah, you use the QSIP on a Bloomberg terminal to pull up a security. Getting a QSIP number is a legit state. So yeah, Bloomberg terminals are what all the professional traders use out there. So you got to have some kind of ID, right? So that's a big fucking deal, man.
All right. Troy is saying Pixelcraft hasn't been on for a while. The 10K TF is tomorrow. So we will do that in the morning on our spaces on X. Let's see. Bad Teeth can join in tomorrow. Wicked Craniums is also brought up. So appreciate those comments. I did show off real quick the X copy Algo Bro. So did you have an X copy gifted, or did you collect X copy?
I would love to have. Well, you know what? I was actually looking at. He has a big collection out there that the floor is pretty low. I was actually looking at just getting in on one. They're not like they're not like crazy rare or anything, and they're not the cheapest. But it's like there's a floor around like 0.15 or 0.2 for one of his collections I was looking at, because I don't. What about you?
I don't. I'm definitely. I need to actually take stock of what I actually have on the art side. I would love to kind of do a look at that, but no, I don't own any X copy. I probably will buy one of these NAMIs. They're in a kind of price range for me. I'll probably get wrecked on it because it's not a larger, like 2 ETH bid that's going to turn to 12.
Artist or a well-known artist. Yeah, but it's again right now, if it's in your zone, it's probably not that bad of a play because they're not crazy expensive.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we are an hour and 13 minutes in, which means we need to shut down the show. You guys have been awesome all the way throughout. Like I said, we're going to try to do a better job of getting guests on and get some really heavy hitters and even people who are just trying to make their way in the space, honestly. Like, that's what everybody's trying to do at this point. But
good
yeah,
people, though. Legit people. Real people.
Good people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, we're going to try and keep it to an hour, maybe.
I'm trying to do it now. No, yeah, you guys have been awesome. Again, are we in range of your happy Halloween gift, Ed? We're about 7 days out. We're like 8 days out. Are we in range?
I feel like you're not supposed to actually wish people happy Halloween until it's Halloween. But look, I'm happy to be wrong about that. And I enjoy the season. I do. I also really enjoy a lot of sort of spooky, weird things of the season, like coffins. The allow list is live as of today. This is on the Nifty Kit website. You can go join that wait list right now, and I'm going to drop that link in the chat again. Shout out to all of y'all who are helping to get this out. If you can, give it a like or retweet anything. It means a ton. This is my first generative art project, and just being on this allow list will get you 2 free mints. So why wouldn't friends? But yeah, I'll put that in the chat.
Awesome, man. No, I blocked you out there for a second, but anyways, yeah, I'm gonna run some type of like counter surveillance people here against Biggie Poppins. I'm gonna make sure Biggie Poppins thinks this is on like a different date, if we could do that, so that he's not like front running me there. But no, anyways, man. Yeah, awesome to see Coffins take form. I remember you telling me about it about a couple months ago, man. So it's cool to see like it's actually.
You're part of the process, Q. You are one of only 2 people who have seen any iterations of the work so far. So shout out to you for being a friend and being a creative confidant now.
Wow. My advisory prices are going to go through the roof here. Prodigy saying, well played, gift. Prodigy, you missed the episode, man. Where you at? Where you at, brother? Nice to see everybody that joined today. Let's give a quick shout out here at the end. Easy, China, Squash, Justin Casey, Crypto Talk, Watchdogs, Asmodai, Marty McFly, Left Action House. On our 30 live viewer episode, GIF, we had a bunch of people come through. DP.
It's a big deal. It's
Mike
actually
Scott.
a big deal. It's actually a big deal. So thank you to all of y'all who keep believing and showing up. And again, especially the ones engaging, liking, sharing. Y'all are the goats, man, for real.
All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Our Vibe, our tribe.